This podcast is sponsored by Go Play Sports, the brand new mobile app changing the game for grassroots. Whether it's Sunday League or five-a-side, Go Play Sports makes it easy to track attendance, manage teams and cut out the manual admin. No more endless group chats, no more chasing payments, just turn up and play. Go Play Sports. Download now from your app store.
Let's kick it off. I'm Steve, and I'm joined by Ash and Uz, and it's international break, so we're going to look back on the transfer window for Manchester United and preview the derby coming up. So we'll get straight into it. Uz, Lomond's in, Onana out. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think goalkeeper was a position we discussed, right? Going into the summer as one we'd probably want to address, but not high on the priority list. Not as high as the attacking positions. What I like about this, in central midfield. What I like about this though is it's a name I hadn't heard of. If you'd asked me this name 3 months ago, I didn't have a clue. And we've always said, why do we not sign players that, why don't we have scouts that can find the next guy? Why is it always someone I knew? And I think it was interesting that we were linked with Emi Martinez, or Dibu Martinez, who he seems to be called now all of a sudden, and Lomond. And I know Ash, I don't know about you, Steve, you can tell me, was more on the Martinez side of things, but I'm glad we went with the more unproven guy. I think Dibu Martinez obviously has a good reputation, has played in the Premier League, but age-wise, the transfer fee being rumoured at something like 40 million, wages, just not a transfer that appealed to me that much. As I know, we can both see, right? There's an issue with both Onana and Buendia. We need someone, and you'd probably say Martinez is still an upgrade, right, on both of these guys. But I'm glad we went with a younger goalkeeper option. I think it's a bit risky. It'd be interesting to see if he gets thrown in straight away. I don't think so. I think Buendia started the season well enough. Apart from he hates crosses more than what is it? Dracula that doesn't like crosses? Dracula? I think it's Dracula. Thinking which mythical
Dracula or Count Dracula?
Which mythical werewolves don't like the full moon or something, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So it doesn't like he likes.
I thought you were going to break out into Michael Jackson, a bit of Thriller then.
Less than Dracula.
It's a full moon tonight as well.
But apart from that, he's done okay enough to probably start against City. But I don't know. What do you think, Steve? Were you Dibu Martinez? Were you Lomongs? Or were you thinking, do we even need a goalkeeper?
Doner Kebab.
Donnarumma was the other one. Yeah. I think that the Donnarumma one, I don't understand why people are even discussing that, because he's on like 500 grand a week or something, and we're not doing that.
Well,
good enough for City.
There's no surprise.
Haaland's on $1 million, so it doesn't matter with their wage structure.
No, but there's no surprise you back this signing, because that's your style. It's always been that style, right? You like the younger guys. You like, you said it yourself there, the unproven guys to a certain extent.
Less on goalkeeper, I have to say. I think goalkeeper's a bit risky. I think goalkeeper typically say,
experience.
Have a bit of the experience factor. So I was thinking, could we have got... it can't have been possible, because I think they would have done it like a Emi Martinez on loan for a year or something, just to do the transition.
That's what I was supporting.
But that was obviously not viable, because if you could do Martinez on loan, they would have done it.
They inquired on that, I think, early in the summer about loan.
And they Villa basically said no, right?
So for me, it always comes back to, what's your goal? So clearly the goal is to improve as a team, right? But for me, there's a short-term goal, there's a medium-term goal, and there's a long-term goal. So medium-term goal is Project 2028, is it, to win the league?
Oh, you're going with the Omar line. You're
No,
turning,
whatever.
Steve.
It makes sense, right, to target that. Whether we reach it or not is another question. But then you look at the short term. So, yes, the signing of Lomond's medium term, I like. The stats look good. I'm sure we'll come on to the stats. I'm sure, goals prevented, top of Europe, did I see? Out of all the top European leagues, even crosses, he seems quite proactive with crosses.
Made the most saves in Europe last season, I think, as well.
Yeah, so you get it on paper, and 20 million euros or pounds, like roughly in that region,
in that region. Decent
So it's
fee,
yeah, it's a good signing on paper, and this is the key point on paper. The reality is the pressure of Manchester United. We've seen it with Onana. We've seen it with many goalkeepers over the last 30 years. We can only name 2 successful goalkeepers since the 90s, right? Schmeichel and Van der Sar. And De Gea, to a certain extent, I guess you can put him in there. But,
He's
that's
definitely third. Yeah.
That's 3 goalkeepers in, 30 plus years. So we know the pressure of the job. And this is where I think short-term goal, yeah, I like, the thought of Martinez on loan, but even if that can't happen, I would have gone for the experience, basically. So even if you had to sign Martinez and pay money, even if you had to do Donnarumma, I don't know what the exact wages are, but I would have liked to see experience coming through the door for the short term. That's my take. Ash, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, no one knew about him. I'd say 3 weeks ago, let alone 3 months ago. So for anyone apart from the experts, they're bullshitting whether they know he's good or not. The clips I've seen, I've tried to watch some like actual games as opposed to YouTube clips. It looks good in terms of if you're ticking what you want in a goalkeeper. He's got the height, he's got the size. He looks decent on one-on-ones. He likes to come out. There's debates about how good he is in the air in terms of at least he likes coming out. I like that in a goalkeeper. And whether he's going to be physical enough at the beginning in the Premier League, we'll find out. I agree with I can't see him starting in the derby only because apart from Bayern being useless on crossing, he's actually been okay with passing. I'm not really sure how good he's been with saving. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure, obviously, to come into the Manchester derby on Sunday and start. Like to give a quick shout out to friend of the pod, Ron, because I think all 3 of us were discussing him, I think last week. Came across really well on interview. Immediately, I felt like I thought Edwin van der Sar in terms of the way he speaks, accent-wise. Obviously, being neighbours, being Belgium to the Dutch. And yeah, obviously, he's up for the challenge and he seems like a good head. But to your point, Steve, a lot of boxes ticked, but you got to go out there and do it. And that's the big pressure because the team's not really performing well. And it's it's a tricky environment. There's a lot of questions already about leadership at the back. So obviously to come into that environment being extremely young as well, especially for a goalkeeper, because he's only had 1 full season with Royal Antwerp as well. So yeah, look, if this was Champ Man and I signed him as my number 2, I would have big hopes for him to be the number 1 in the future for sure. So yeah, I guess my take is a little bit similar with the striker position. Like if it was to me, I would have gone with a more senior guy just because of how poor last season was, and I guess we'll go on to the games that has been this season as well. I hope obviously he starts off well, but it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Alice, you got some stats for us on Le Mans?
I don't know. I know that I saw them on Sky that his shot stopping is excellent, right? I don't have them off the top of my head, but
yeah, who's the dude that you've been interacting with on Twitter? Is it the BBC guy?
Uman?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a profile on the BBC website,
and
with
they're
all of his
impressive,
stats.
aren't they?
Yeah,
the stats. Yeah. So.
Yes. So the issue is obviously this is it's in a lower level league, So it's not Big Five league. The stats where he's leading.
Is this even
it's
Farmers
like,
League?
Yeah, it's and this is the thing. It's it's the level of competition in the Premier League, the challenge that he's going to face, ignoring the pressure, just the level of physicality and the level of quality that he's going to face is going to take a step up. The good thing though with goalkeeping stats is they're not as league. If you can save a shot that's a good shot, it's a good shot is a good shot. So
you think the conversion rate is like better for a goalkeeper as opposed to say like a striker who scored like 50 goals in Belgium?
Yeah, because if you score, the issue with it, let's say a striker, is you need to get those chances, right? With a goalkeeper, a shot is a shot. So assuming that he can replicate his form, it shows that his reactions are good. That's something we know. His reactions are good. I was listening to Talk of the Devils as well, and they had a Belgian expert on, and he said, "Oh, he started the season." Some of this crossing, the cross claiming. Remember this. He's only had one full season, so he started the season a bit tentatively, misjudging a few, and then he grew into the season. So
where do you think I nicked the proactive word from? Just listening to Talk of the Devil's pod.
I didn't even know that.
I like that. I like the proactivity because that shows another certain mentality, right? Bravery. He's going to make some mistakes, and we need to get behind him. So it's an uncompromising environment. But for me personally, going back to the boring thing of finances, right? If you bring in a Donnarumma on 500 grand or whatever, what City have committed to, and the 30 million, it means that come January or come the summer, you don't have the budget for that midfielder, right? So and the thing with Donnarumma as well, his stats are not good. He had a bad season last season. He doesn't kick the ball. So I'm really curious, preview of the City game coming up later. I'm really curious to see him in the Premier League. So we'll get to see him. Martinez is still in the league, right, with Villa.
He's got that though. He's got that. And for the audio listeners, I'm pointing at my mind and mentality.
He's still a champion goalkeeper, regardless of
if he's got the mentality. Why in the Liverpool game, for example, where PSG dominated the whole game, Harvey Elliott, they had one shot in the whole game, Harvey Elliott, and it went through him. He basically
was he not quality at Anfield, Donnarumma?
He was okay at Anfield. His best game in the Champions League was Arsenal.
Arsenal, sorry, yeah.
Oh, he was really amazing against Arsenal, and yeah, he was good at Anfield.
I think it was the Emirates game.
The Emirates game.
He was really good in Paris as well. He just both
they had
legs.
One shot. They had one shot, and he went through his hand. Like if that was Onana.
No. You're talking Liverpool. I'm talking Arsenal.
Oh yeah, the Arsenal leg, he was decent. Yeah,
Arsenal,
absolutely.
he was good at Paris. Arsenal were decent. Arsenal was being
decent, and
Arsenal were being like Stoke, but yeah,
he was decent. But he's dodgy for a big guy. He flaps at crosses like terribly. He's terrible with his feet, so it's really interesting to see this Pep change. And this the other. It just costs a shitload of money, and you're kind of tied into this guy, right? So you've committed to him. You can't let him go. Emi Martinez is what, 33 or something? He's old.
Yeah.
He makes, if you look at his stats, similar to Onana, lots of mistakes, average goal.
Less mistakes. Let's get that right. Less mistakes.
No, but his stats are basically the same.
I know. I checked him. I checked him first in the summer, but Onana's in a league of his own, and someone made a really good point about 9 are recorded, but there's many others which probably are unrecorded. So, but when I checked the Martinez stats earlier in the summer, yeah, I agree, and I said this even off the cuff without looking at the stats. He does make mistakes, but it's less to Onana. And I know you were being complimentary about my goalkeeping skills earlier this week or last week, but the point is, at the moment, we do have to benchmark it against Onana because, he did have the gloves. But yeah, I do agree in that I would have only done it on loan. I can't spend 40 million plus his wages for a 33-year-old.
We'll all agree. If same with Watkins, right? I was like, yeah, I'll have Watkins for a cheap price. I don't want to pay big money for Watkins. Same with Emi Martinez or DB Martinez. I'm happy.
Where did that even come from? I got confused for a second. It's is this another defender or
apparently his
goalkeeper.
nickname, and Romano kept using it, and now everyone's using it. But
Yeah.
again, like if he was on loan and it was cheap, 100%. I don't want to pay 40 million for this guy. The interesting thing with Onana as well. Like he actually had a good first season, so that's the weird. Like he
You mean on
massively
expected goals, right? I think it was about 9.5.
So Onana is so you know how I've always gone, oh, you know what, Ten Hag's second season was terrible and we should have fired him, and actually Ten Hag's trending was as bad as Amorim was last season. It's just that he got lucky, and a lot of that was so I was looking at the numbers in both last season and the season before on expected goal difference. We're 15th, so we're terrible under Ten Hag, right? We all knew that. We could see that with our eyes. We were watching the games going, this is terrible. The other team is like throwing shots at us for fun. And I looked at the numbers, and we conceded 58 goals. And we came 8th, right? Conceded 58 goals. But the expected goals against was 69. It's insane how bad we were. And actually, Onana basically kept Ten Hag's season afloat. I think was he in goal for the penalty shootout, the Coventry one as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
However,
So like
he cost us the Champions League though, right?
He threw goals in.
Was terrible in the Champions League.
Yeah, and,
so
and a lot of people remember that. A lot of people remember that.
No.
Right,
He started really badly. Like when he first came to the club, he started really badly. But then he picked up and he basically kept, because we were getting terrible, and he kept us in it with a lot of great saves. It's the thing, people always look at the mistakes but never really remember the saves. But we were conceding so many shots. He was making lots of good saves. But last season he was just bang average, like really average. So like the mistakes, the good saves were then outweighed by the mistakes. And then he's a confidence guy. So his confidence was waning, so he was on the down. But I think he's especially a confidence guy, right? You could see that he'd lost it. And I think what was really interesting was, I don't think that, and all the reporting is we weren't really looking to replace him. But he came back with this injury. He then didn't start the first game. He then
asked
had
for a pay rise.
Contract is the big one.
Yeah. Had a howler against Grimsby, and I think that's what triggered the club to go, you know what, enough is enough.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you after Arsenal? You got to start trusting my gut, my friend.
I think the contract was the big one though, because by Grimsby he was done anyway. Because already by that point it's 2 games. So obviously that was reported by Laurie Whitwell from the Athletic. So obviously that's only come to light really in the last 2 weeks, I guess. So I think that's the big one, and Ruben's probably taken it like he's taken it with everyone else, Rashford, Garnacho, with attitude, and just if you don't want to be here, or you got the arrogance to think you can come back after a season like you had and ask for a new contract. Because essentially it's because we're not in the Champions League, right? And all the players have taken a 25% wage hit. So I wanted to
bump up going to Turkey.
Yeah, exactly. Probably the worst team though out of the big ones he could have gone to, but at least he'll get good weather and good food. So yeah,
I think it's actually a smart move from the club to get rid of him, because I don't think going into this season with these 3 in the mix would have been helpful for anyone really. At least it's a battle for 2, and realistically, Le Mans is going to win that battle, whether it's on the derby or whether it's 5 games down the line, right? Surely by December, Le Mans is going to be number 1, surely.
I'm going to put it out there right now though, because it's been like this under Ruben. I just hope Ruben actually wanted him in the first place. And it's not like a club signing like some other signings that have happened in the last 1 to 2 years.
What I don't understand, why do you hope that? Isn't it better that the club is finally taking control over managers?
No, because we've seen the problems, right? I mean, we've massively argued.
Is Ruben Amorim some kind of goalkeeping scouting expert? Why should he decide who the goalkeeper is?
Because he's the manager, and you've seen how he's reacted and acted during his tenure. At times, he can be like a spoiled little child in terms of his attitude to certain things.
But
So
isn't the whole point as a club we need to get away from this manager-focused signings?
yeah, well, we'll find out, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm hope because to Steve's point, I'm hoping by December he's the established number one. If he's not, that's a problem, and that'll be down to Ruben and what he thinks of Lamont. So that's what I'm saying. I hope it was done with absolute blessing from Ruben that he will actually use him. And we've seen this with other signings over the last 12 months. Like, is it a club signing, or did the manager really want him, right? Like, there's all the rumors about Ten Hag and which ones he wanted and didn't want, or players that sold as well. But yeah, that's probably something to watch. I just wanted to go back to the expected goals that Onana had saved for 23-24, because I think I talked about this pre-pod days. Like, David De Gea in those scenarios, I wonder what his expected goal save would have been. Because
we've got it. I can get it for you.
Oh yeah,
he had David De Gea was
no,
the
but
guy.
you won't. What I mean is, if De Gea was in goal for that 23-24 season, can you do that?
No, you can't. You can't template it. But
that's what I'm saying.
What you can do is you can go through someone's. We don't have all the numbers forever, but you can basically have a look at. So we've got on the public stats, right? The Opta stats from 2017-18. David De Gea in 2017-18 is the reason Jose Mourinho's United came second. And it's the same thing I'm saying. The differential that a goalkeeper can have if they have a standout season. So we were actually the 6th best team in the league that year, and we finished second. Jose says, "This is my best achievement. I'm so great. Look how good I am."
Could you look into this then, like, quickly, if it's possible? Onana at either Inter Milan and Ajax, to see has he got any season where it was like that 23-24, because his reputation obviously is more of a ball playing goalkeeper.
Yeah, from that one game we all watched, the Champions League final.
No. His reputation at Barcelona and Ajax was that he was a ball playing. Look, I got sucked in just like everyone else. Just for the record, like, I'm not going to listen to Italian pundits when they come to the Premier League, like the players from Serie A.
The problem with that is, and I think The Athletic might have written an article on this as well, the goalkeeping expert, The Athletic, is that we didn't use his ball-playing ability. We started going long. And it's like, the whole point of Onana is his short passing, right? And Ten Hag was like booting it long. Amorim as well we haven't really settled in that build-up shape. And ideally, you'd have, Martinez there on one side and Euro on the other, to do that early build-up. But his long kicking's not very good. So, I can tell you, right, so he actually had 2 excellent seasons in 1920 and 2021 for Ajax, shot-stopping wise. Below average the season before he left. And actually, in Serie A, he was below average shot-stopping. In his one season at Inter, but if I go to the Champions League, this is where he made his reputation.
He made his reputation in that one game. Come on,
no. It was across the Champions League. So in his Champions League season, they played 13 90s. He, in just 13 games, saved 7.5 goals more than expected, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So he had this unbelievable, Champions League season at Inter, and it kind of built his reputation. The thing is, across all of these, I've watched Onana for a while. He's always had a mistake in him. He's just one of these guys that, stylistically and his technique as well, he's always had a mistake in him. So, like,
Steve,
I wasn't
called
surprised.
You were just smiling,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, you called it. I remember I tried to be positive that summer because, like, once he's in, right? So even though I had my doubts and I've seen the mistakes that Az is talking about, obviously having listened.
The line?
Yeah, I'm
Remember the
gonna
line, right?
quote it in a second, but I'm giving the build up because having listened to some of the pundits who follow Serie A, I gave him the benefit of the doubt to be like, yeah, come on, he's gonna be really good for us and obviously going to progress us. And the famous line from Steve that summer was, he's the next Bartes. And he turned out to be the clown version of Bartes
I
as
said he
opposed
could.
to
I
the
said he
World Cup
could be.
winning.
I said he could be. Yeah, I
Yeah.
said he could be. But he, I guess he did to a certain degree. But the key here is we could talk about stats all day. People remember moments. So let's go back to.
That's why you should look at stats, by the way.
No. Yeah, I get
That's
that.
exactly. I want to just be clear. The exact reason you should look at stats is people's biases and
You need
people
both.
looking.
You need both.
Yeah,
But-
you need
but what-
both. But the
Yeah.
one thing, the whole reason of looking at stats, saying, okay, let me increase the sample size and take away my biases. And if we
Yeah.
include all the mistakes that he's made in the thing, is he doing well? Last season, not good enough. The season before, actually, he was really good. Not in the Champions League, in the Premier League. So you can use the stats
However,
to try and take
yeah,
away.
you can use the stats.
The
but
other thing that's interesting on stats is where Onana is unlucky. I looked at the stats on mistakes leading to goals. Every time he seems to make a mistake, it's led to a goal. And I was thinking, wait a minute, I've seen other goalkeepers make, like David Raya, for example, makes a lot of mistakes.
You're saying he's the David Moyes of goalkeeping, yeah?
No, it's just sometimes if you don't have a good defense, for
No,
example.
I get your point.
Let's say,
like, I've seen
for
other
example,
goalkeepers make mistakes and it doesn't lead to goals.
It doesn't
You're right.
lead to a goal. So,
Yeah.
like, for example, often David Raya makes a passing mistake or a parrying mistake, but then either he makes up for himself or Gabriel and Saliba make up for it. And every time Onana's made a mistake, it has basically led to a goal.
I wish David Raya wore a United shirt because the amount of stick you give that guy.
No, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the
What's
Premier
he
League.
saying? Onana's unlucky now. Is that the narrative?
No, he has been unlucky, but he also sometimes you have bad luck in life, and that bad luck.
No, hold on. No. This is top level sport, right? You only have to go back 2 episodes to listen to Carlos Brathwaite talking about top level sport. Top level sport is about how you deliver in the big moments, and that's something stats
And
will never.
like I said-
hold on. No,
but
stats will never quantify that.
No, but
Then
this
you
is the
can look
point.
at
Onana has actually been to a Champions League final.
Great.
And this is where I think...
I want people that can deliver at Old Trafford in Champions League games in big title
Wearing that
races.
green shirt.
That's what I want, and stats will never give you that. Stats is good to a certain extent, but on top of that, you need to apply common sense. You need to look at the big moments, and there's these 2 things called your eyes, which we shouldn't forget about.
And this is why I think people wanted Emi Martinez, because they remember the World Cup.
Yeah,
And he was brilliant.
And that's
I don't know. I mean, I
World Cup.
don't know if. I mean, look, for your Sun headline for sure. But like I said, I've watched Emi Martinez enough, and even without looking
It's
at
not
the
good
stats.
for Villa, right? So what are you looking at then? What
No,
do you
no,
want?
no. That's not true.
Do you guys know why we got Onana? I'll tell you why. We were there at Wembley. De Gea fucked up in the FA Cup final, and that's when Ten Hag decided he's changing the goalkeeper. And that's what I mean by moments.
It was the right thing to change.
No,
the
but you were
goalkeepers.
being
De Gea
disingenuous
had-
about Martinez at Villa. Like he's been decent. He's made mistakes, and this is the thing. Going back to Steve's point, the eyes. Immediately when we were linked with him, I said he's better than Onana in the air, which is a start. He does make mistakes. I said that. I've seen him make mistakes where the ball trickles through his hands and stuff like that. And then once I looked at the stats, you
also
know,
got
just
sent
based
off
on
when he played us, right? Red card.
To be
Cost
honest,
Villa
I'm
the
not bothered
Champions League.
about that because like it was a dead game anyway, right? And like
It wasn't
you
a
know,
dead game for Villa that cost.
well,
them
yeah,
the
but the
Champions League.
goalkeeper does come out, right? There's loads of goalkeepers that come out in that scenario, and yeah, he fouled him and he got sent off. So big deal, right? That
How many
like,
red
we-
cards have goalkeepers had in the Premier League in the last season? Not that many, right?
Yeah, he was. To your
It's a
point, right?
massive
If
error. It's a
yeah, but
massive error.
if I'm gonna be like you. You could say he's unlucky because goalkeepers do rush out loads and when they shouldn't, right? But that's a different debate.
Goalkeepers make mistakes as well. Like all
No, but that's what we're discussing here. Does he
Yeah,
make
yeah, yeah.
mistakes? He does.
But there's
make
not many-
mistakes.
He
There's not
does,
many
but
goalkeepers that
he
don't.
makes less mistakes than Onana. He's much better in the air, and statistically, you've looked into that as well, and you know that Martinez is better in the air. So, like, if we're talking about like trying to profile Jay's favorite word, friend of the pod, a new goalkeeper, like I said, if it was on loan and we could have got it done, I definitely would have done it for a season.
I would have done it too, 100%. On loan, 100%. Would have been a great move. I just didn't want to sign him for 40 million.
That's fair, and I get that with the budget constraints. So Ash, like looking at the transfer window as a whole, now that it's pretty much closed,
Now the dust is settled.
Are you happy with the business overall?
No, because we didn't get a central midfielder as a minimum. Like we needed one, and really we needed two. We talked about it in Bilbao. I think it was number 2 on our list. So I'm really disappointed that we didn't add to the pool. I know there's going to be a lot of people saying, well, Bruno's got one spot. Hopefully Cobby's taken spot 2, especially for you, Steve. And then it's almost like a dogfight between, Casemiro and Ugarte, I guess, to, play the other minutes because we don't have that many minutes. But yeah, like when the window's shut, and I just looked at it. I can't remember. It was like 2-3 years ago. It was like a similar feeling. It's like, have we really not signed one single midfielder, even if it's on loan? So, again, Jay mentioned it. Paulina from Spurs, that deal was there to be done. I think we spoke about it on the pod a few weeks ago. Yeah, you can talk about like he didn't play that many minutes for Bayern, but Thomas Tuchel is a weirdo anyway. So I would have done that as a minimum. And like for the people who are going to say we tried to get Carlos Baleba, it's like there are more midfielders than Carlos Baleba, especially with the valuation that Brighton were coming up with. So we had to do better in that. Look, we spoke about it before in that Mbumu, Cunha and Šeško, they're good signings. But you needed to back up the midfield. I just can't believe we're going
to medium term, short term. This is what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean we're just going to go into we're going to go into the rest of the this window between now to January with Bruno as obviously our main central midfielder. Kobbie Mainoo, we don't know what's happening. I mean, he's luckily stayed at the club. And then, it's a complete lottery, right? Ugarte, he hasn't done that great on the ball since he's been at the club. He can run a bit. And Casemiro, his legs are shot. So he will give you moments, but he won't give you enough over like a season. So, midfield was already a worry going into the season. A few games have been played and everyone is talking about midfield. So, I don't know what to rate it. I think we spoke about the order as well in terms of like, if the budget was only 200 million, I think Ron spoke about this on the pod a couple of weeks ago. If the budget was like, you got 200 million to spend, and we've spent it on those 3, and this is the point, it's not a slant against any of Cunha, Mbumu and Šeško, but we have not added to the midfield pool. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I agree. Again, I go back to short term, medium term. I think we've made some good medium term signings, like the goalkeeper. Obviously, we talked about him. Could be a good long term fit for the club. Mbumu, Cunha, yes, you could say they're more immediate impact, possibly Premier League experience. So again,
they have
pretty
to
good
be
signings. But Šeško, right? That's the big one. We talked about striker, and that's clearly a more medium to long term signing. We can't expect him to hit the ground running. So, overall, I think it's a pretty good window. But yeah, the concern on centre midfield is clearly there. I think we've all got that right, us.
100%. I think one thing to bear in mind is, and I think we all agree, we're never going to solve all the problems in one window. So. We haven't solved the central midfield issue. The fact that we were linked to Baleba shows that we've identified that as something to look at, right, as a next priority. Overall, I'm happy with the window. I think in the context of when we finished the Europa final, and we said, okay, our budget's going to be cut. We heard talk of the budget being 90 million, and it's kind of come to that, about 90 million-ish, maybe a bit more. Net spend, fella, talk about net spend, don't talk about spend, talk about net spend. And we managed to, the bomb squad, right, we managed to get rid of Garnacho. Sancho's out on loan, so his wages are off. Rashford's out on loan, so his wages are off. Anthony, we finally got rid of, thank God. I think Malassi is the only one sticking around. And then we've used that money on. I genuinely, when they signed, and I still believe this, I think Mbumo and Cunha are the second and third best, whichever order, I don't know what order you want to put them in, are the second and third best players in our squad now. So when you sign the second and third best player, they got, two of the top three players now in your squad are new players. You got to say those are good, and they look good already. Shesko, I think, is the right profile, our favourite word, in that it's the medium-term option. And time will tell. Could be another Højlund, right? Could be another Højlund. Hopefully. But if you look at the striker market and who moved around, Visser for 50 million.
55, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember the exact. Vertimonde, for whatever, 80 odd something euro.
Strand Larsen, was it 50 million
context,
Wolves wanted?
Yeah, the money we've paid for these, initially I'm like, oh, it's a lot of money. When Anthony Elanga goes for 55 million, you get that some of that net spend, right? We made some money on these sell-on clauses.
But what do you make of our sales? What do you make of our sales though? Like Garnacho 40 million, and he's the only one we've properly sold, right? Rest of them are on loans. So what do you make of that? Like, shouldn't we have got more? So
Garnacho, I think he, to me, that's 15 million lower than he should be. But I think it's basically Garnacho has gone, I don't want to go anywhere else apart from Chelsea, and he's been an absolute tit about this. It sounds like, Steve, we need to have a discussion on which is better, London or Manchester, because it sounds like he just wanted to live in London. Apparently, he was, have you watched the David Beckham? If you haven't, I recommend it. The David Beckham doc. Is it on Amazon or Netflix? I can't remember which one it is.
Netflix.
Yeah, the recent one.
Is it Netflix? Yeah. Have you watched it?
Yeah,
it's brilliant, right? And he's constantly going down to London to visit Posh. Sounds like Garnacho's wife, girlfriend, partner, or whatever just seems to like London, and he's just doing the same thing. So it just seems
they'll love
like
the London Selfridges.
Yeah, determined to go to Chelsea. Chelsea wanted to only offer 25. In the end, once he had gone at 40, I'm like, yeah, it's below. For me, if you look at, like I said, the other signings, they sold Madueke for 50 million. To me, Garnacho and Madueke, similar levels of players. It should have been 50, 55. But I'm happy he's gone. I was worried Sancho wouldn't go anywhere. I'm happy Villa are paying his wages. Good. Done. Rashford, I'm really happy for him.
When you say good, though, when you say good, you're saying good out of bad options, right? Good would have been sell him properly. Get rid of him, right? Surely.
Well, yeah, Roma put 20 million on the table and he said no.
We had a bid accepted, but this guy is on such big. This is the problem is Ineos are trying to kind of clean up the mess of such a big mess that they're picking up, that they're like, okay, they were willing to sell him for 20, bid accepted, and he's basically said no because in the end, he's done the right thing.
Yeah, they're genius at recruitment, Ollie. The reason I actually asked that question,
but in the end, Sancho's done the right thing, hasn't he? He's stuck around and he's got a Premier League.
No, I asked that question on behalf of listener Jay, who constantly criticises our sales, right? So I agree that they're tough sales. The wages are high, but yeah, that's the reason I put the question to you on the sales. Because
I've got a question for you guys, just on, I guess, allocation of funds. So you both said you would have wanted a midfielder. So would you have sacrificed either Mbumo or Cunha in order to get a central midfielder? So you don't have one of those players.
It depends who the problem is, and I think it really depends who the midfielder is. Like you're saying,
Baleba.
You need more money.
Brighton didn't want to sell him. So if it was Baleba or Wharton, you'd be like, yeah, brilliant. Like, this guy's the future.
Yeah, but let's say a £60 million player, £60 million central midfielder who's either
the Le Mans of centre midfield. It has all the data points. But
because you can buy a Le Mans for like 30, 40 million from France.
Yeah, the issue I have with that is what I always look at is, what have other people done in business-wise? And you mentioned João Paulinho. It's great, right? Look at what other people have done. Would you have done the same? I haven't seen a midfielder move in this window where I've been like, oh, why didn't we get him? Right, a lot of it's been these winger forward type of moves, right? I think, for example,
Would you have wanted Zubimende as an example?
no, because I don't think he's the profile that Ruben wants, but it's perfect for Arsenal. But I think, for example, Liverpool should sign a DM. They wanted Subimendi before, they didn't get him. They haven't gone in for a midfielder. They've signed they've done the same as us. Why have they got Ekitike and Isak? It seems like overkill in the forward line. They've signed 2 super attacking fullbacks, but haven't signed a centre back. To be fair, they were in for Gahey, but why did you leave it so long that the Gahey deal doesn't happen and you've left yourself short centre back?
That's Liverpool's fault, totally.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, oh, if they had gone and got someone, the problem is as well, even if Liverpool had got that player, he couldn't come to us. So when people say, oh, why didn't we sign Isak? It's like, Isak's not joining us, right? Why didn't we sign Wirtz?
No, but
Wirtz isn't going to join us.
Let's say a superstar French midfielder who's 60 million. I'm giving you the option, and he covers your profile.
No. But what my point is, I haven't seen that move from an Aston Villa, etc. If that move, so I'd probably say maybe someone like Elliot Anderson could be good, but would Forest sell him? I obviously want Wharton, Believer, but they
that's a good example. Let's say Elliot Anderson puts his foot down, transfer request. I'm giving you Elliot Anderson for say 60 odd million. And yeah, you need to sacrifice Cunha or Mbumu. You don't have to say which one, but I'm just saying, would you have taken that midfielder? That's a good example, actually.
I think for the results of the team this season, the results will be better. I think we've left ourselves with a hole in the midfield that I think we could fill in the number 10 position. Because you can always move Bruno up. Mason Mount is hard. Is he going to be fit?
He's not going to be fit. Let's just call it now. He won't stay fit the whole season.
So you can move Bruno up one and then play Cobby, and then you have your new midfielder guy as well. And I think that would be a more balanced team overall. What I would say is, I love watching Cunha. I think he's great. I think he's going to do really well. So it's kind of like I really like the guy. I don't want to.
No, but this is the thing. Like I said right at the beginning,
the team.
This is what I mean. It's about the team.
There's a weak link now in the and I think they would have done something if Casemiro left. I think the issue they're carrying this Casemiro wages on him. I think when Casemiro's, I think it's like 15 million a year on wages.
Is he expiring next summer?
Expires in the summer, so
so he's gone along with Sancho, so that's big wages off the books.
Yeah, so I think they'll address it, and I think that what happened was the better question for this short term, right? For the short term, not for the medium or long, is could you have sacrificed Benjamin Šeško and signed a midfielder, and then because could you get away with playing Mbumo up front? Playing Ahmad or Bruno in the number 10 slot and buying a midfielder, because I think Cunha's short-term, like I said, Cunha and Mbeumo are going to have short-term impact, while Šeško, I think, is going to take a little bit longer of time. And that's the better question. And I think for the next season, you might have been better off with the midfielder. However, I like the fact we went for a number 9, because I think you need to have a number 9 in this team. And I think it's good we've gone for Šeško. And I think it means it's capped our ability to maybe get in the top 5. But can Ruben get away with it? Can he get to at least January and see how he said? What would you let's say let's keep Cunha and Bomo. What would you have done, Šeško? What would you have done?
I would have done Šeško. Most likely, I wouldn't have done Mbumu. Because I'm gonna kind of assume, look, Cunha was done so long ago, it's almost like it was always going to be the case. We know we went for, his name escapes me, the poor man's Jamie Vardy, Delap. We went for him. He was going to cost 30 million because of his buyout from Ipswich. He turned us down. So we moved to Mbumu. Like we keep saying this word, different profile, etc. But that's where my 60 million for someone like Elliot Anderson would have been done.
See,
I'll come back to Šeško in a
yeah.
second, Steve. So on that scenario, we'll use Elliot Anderson. So I think you were going to say yes. Like, would you have done a central midfielder for 60 million rather than an Mbeumo and Cunha? And do you want to actually put a name who you wouldn't have gone with?
Yeah, I can't really give you a name because I don't look at the data like the scouts do, but I would have sanctioned a centre midfielder over one of those attackers, yeah, for sure.
No, but I'm saying, like...
No, which one would you have sacrificed?
Yeah, Cunha or Mbeumo.
Yeah, so like...
Or Šeško.
Or Šeško, yeah.
Probably, yeah, it would definitely be one of Mbeumo or Cunha. Probably, probably Mbeumo. I like the look of Cunha.
See, this is where I will definitely disagree. We can finally properly disagree. I think Mbeumo is going to be an unbelievable signing. I think he's going to be really good. I think, as much as I enjoy watching Cunha, I think Mount and Bruno can play that position.
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right, and I think maybe I changed my mind, but I think you're actually right because numbers and look. To keep it simple,
but also left-footedness, like left foot off the right. I think
I was about to say
right-footed number 10s.
Yeah, I was going to say the left-footedness, but also I when I was picking my FPL squad originally, I thought over the season Mbeumo is going to do more, like with assists and goals. But yeah, I think it's that stylistic thing that a lot of people obviously have gone with Cunha, but like it's a little bit of an unknown quantity.
Okay, so Mr. Ruben out. Tell us where Ruben should be finishing, given the squad and given your concern on CM that you just highlighted.
Well, they should have sorted that, so that's on them, whether it's Ruben or the club. So he needs to finish in a European position. He needs to qualify.
So top 8, is that?
Is it top 7 or 6?
It depends. It'll depend on a few things. One is the 5th place of the Champions League. There's 2 spots for highest performing European countries. Now, last season we had Chelsea in the Conference League, United and Spurs in the Europa League. We don't have that level of depth, so it's not as obvious and clear that we'll get that. We should still get the extra spot. The other thing that comes into it is cup competitions. If one of the top 5 wins Carabao or FA, it drops into the league position. So you have to also wait for the season to evolve. The other way he could qualify is the Ten Hag way of winning the FA Cup, because the Carabao's out of the picture because of Grimsby. So,
he's not a cup manager, so you can clip that up when he wins the FA Cup, but he's not a cup manager.
No, but Ash,
you
saying Conference League is enough for you? European Conference League?
No, of course it's not. But like, I've just got to be realistic.
Europe.
Look, because I'm basing it on in terms of like what we should always challenge for, which is
tell me what do you expect from Ruben? What competition do we need to qualify for him to have done enough this season?
To not get fired, Europa.
Given the window as well. You mentioned
needs to finish. No, because that's their problem, right? So, like, if they want to leave themselves in central midfield, that's up to Ruben because he's obviously gone all eggs on Bruno. So he's got to finish Europa,
or get into
6
Europa
or 7,
by winning a cup, or win the FA Cup. Yeah, getting into Europa is your.
No, because if he finishes like 15th and wins the FA Cup, he's gone. You can't do that. Not with the players that he's brought in, and you can't have another season finishing like I don't know, anywhere between like 15th to 10th.
Okay, so you want to qualify via the league then, basically?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and us?
Because I want to see a style.
Okay, fair. Us?
Yeah, I think the top 4 is fairly locked. I think, and then you've got another group, and I'm with Ash. I would say that I want to see a top 7 finish. And that should get you the Europa League, a top 7, because it's usually like 6 and 7. But it might be the Conference League, but a top 7 finish.
I was going to say, based on what we're talking about, where it could change in terms of league position, and if he's unlucky for some reason and we finish, via the conference because of our league position, okay, fine. But he's got to finish in and around 6th, 7th in that region. You, Steve?
That seems fair to me, yeah. I'd agree with that. I think given the window, I think that's a fair ask. He's been backed. Like we said, he's
also the lack of European competition, right? So he's got time on training ground to implement.
Yeah.
No cup game till January now as well.
Yeah, so like he's got everything there. Like I said, in my opinion, two excellent short-term signings. I know Steve is saying the medium and long, but two guys who I think have immediate impact. Bruno Fernandes has stuck around as well. I forgot about Rasmus on the outgoing. So the net spend literally is basically what we discussed, right? Because there's I know it's not a firm obligation, but if Napoli qualify for the Champions League, which I think they will,
Conditional obligation. Conditional obligation.
Yeah, Conte's going to deliberately not finish in the champs.
Yeah, but you know, if either way, like you know, he looks like he's gone as well. So you can kind of count that as kind of an outgoing as well, right? Like wages off, a bit of a loan fee I think we're getting from him. And
about 7 million
for him to leave, and potential for him to leave in the summer. It shows as well. Like I always tell you about Steve is when you sign a young player, the downside should be more limited. He's been atrocious, yet somehow because of his age and because of his low wages, we've still managed to, 50 million euro potential total recouped from the 75 that we paid. I don't think there were some add-ons as well that, you know, they're saying that some like Champions League qualification was part of the. So like we've made a loss on him, but it just shows when you sign a younger player.
He's clearly going to smash it though. He's going to be like Scott McTominay, and he's going to get 15 to 20 Serie A goals.
Of all the team, this is the thing. I think it's a really good move for him because Conte's Napoli have Lukaku playing that, and Lukaku's injured, so he's like straight in there. He's going to feel the love. Pizza in Naples is absolutely world class.
Get the tomatoes.
He's going to be at Wimbledon next summer, like McTominay was.
Yeah, Ballon d'Or nomination. Here we come, and maybe there's an add-on in there as well.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so right, before we wrap up and preview the derby, I just got a very quick question for you both. Two people that I believe is fair to say, I'm not going to give away your age here, but you saw both Owen and Rooney break through as teenagers, right? So it's a hot debate at the moment. Who was better at that 17, 18-year-old mark? So Ash, I'll start with you. Who's the better player out of Owen or Rooney at that age?
So with the eye test, for me, it's got to be Wayne Rooney. It has to be. I mean, he started at 16, and I still remember that first goal against Arsenal. They were the champions at the time, on a really long unbeaten run, and collected the ball from the air, took it down, and then like free kick style, put it in the top bins against David Seaman, and that was the start of Wayne Rooney. I still remember watching him on Sky Sports News, like scoring, I think, a hat-trick in the Youth FA Cup final against Spurs. And bearing in mind this was like youth football, he was thunderbasting it into like the top corner at like 15, like a man who was like 30. So, you know, the Wayne Rooney that I remember at 16, 17 was just unbelievable. But this is the thing. If you look at the stats, his stats weren't actually that great. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit compensated by the fact Everton were a worse team than Liverpool when Owen joined. But I just got so many great memories of Wayne Rooney, like dribbling, even his tenacity, right? Like, he's obviously a team player as well. So, like, you know, he put Cristiano up in the sky, you know, with a slide tackle at Old Trafford, I think on his debut, actually, Wayne Rooney. I think it was the year before he joined us. So, yeah, I mean, look, the short answer is I'd go Wayne Rooney, but I definitely want to give a shout out to Michael Owen because, again, 16, 17, 18 years old. I mean, just what a striker. Like, again, early days, I remember him scoring goals for, I think, England's under-15s, and everyone knew about him. So these were the days where you didn't have social media, no YouTube, but everyone knew about Michael Owen. Similar to Wayne Rooney, actually, as well. You know, so yeah. But when he got into the Liverpool team, his first full season, he was absolutely blistering, and I think he's already spoken about it because, you know, he recently had an interview with Rio. I think he won the Golden Boot in the Premier League at age 17 and 18, I think it was. And some of the goals, to what Wayne Rooney said, I used to copy those goals in the back garden and on the playground. Obviously, the one that everyone remembers is obviously England versus Argentina. What a goal, what a moment. I think Az would agree. Like, in the 30 odd years we've been watching England, that has to be one of the best moments. Watching England, that Michael Owen goal and the Brian Moore commentary as well, ITV days. So yeah, I've got to give it to Owen. Like, fantastic striker up until the big injury. He had a massive hamstring tear against Leeds, I think it was. And he obviously said it himself, like, by the time he was like 22, he was a completely different player. Even though he was still scoring Premier League goals, he was just very different to when he was like, 17, 18. But yeah, I'll go Wayne Rooney. But like, yeah, even though Owen does come up with his weird comments and there's lots of memes and clips of, some of his mannerisms. Yeah, I'll give it to Owen.
Because I would have been 7 in 99. When did Owen break through? What year was it?
97, 98.
98.
Yeah, so I'm too young. The one goal or one period I remember of Owen, I think it must have been about 2001. You know when John Arne Riise scored that goal against United at Anfield?
He won the Ballon d'Or that time, yeah.
In that game, Owen scored that goal, right?
Yeah.
He opened up his body.
Yeah, against Bartes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bartes, funnily enough. But
Yeah.
I remember so I can't really comment too much. You would have seen them both in their pomp at that age. So what do you reckon?
Overall footballer, definitely Wayne Rooney. Owen's the better goal scorer, though. Owen's the better striker. And when he was... this is the thing, you're talking about ages. Like, the absolute best Michael Owen was unstoppable as a striker because he had the speed. But when he lost his speed, he didn't have the same all-round game that Rooney had to kind of adapt. Yeah, around the 97, 98, 99, he was unbelievable, electric. And yeah, that night, the World Cup, it's still feel a bit bitter about it.
Bit, yeah.
Yeah, just yeah. I carry that still, like David Beckham's red card, Simeone.
That fucking ref.
Yeah, I really felt like, Glenn Hoddle's a weirdo. And I understand that he needed to lose his job and stuff like that because of certain, issues. But I really think that was one of the best England teams. Shearer and Owen up front was electric. Beck's, Scholes. I think Paul Scholes would have a longer England career under Hoddle, and he would have known what to do with the whole Gerrard Lampard thing as well. Would have played three at the back, which, can work as a system. If, can bring the best out of certain players. Yeah, overall, Wayne Rooney, overall footballer. Goal scorer Michael Owen. Take them both, ideally, right? They played together in, I think it was Euro 2004, and Rooney was absolutely electric as well. Absolutely unplayable at 18 odd, right? I think that would have been.
Played together at United for one season or two.
Won the league. Owen.
Won the league. Gave us a great moment. Was it Istanbul? As like we were watching the derby, that game, the Michael Owen winner.
4-3. Yeah.
4-3. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say as a finisher, Owen's a better finisher. So in the box, Owen's a better player. Running in behind, Owen's a better player. But dropping deep to link the play, Rooney has more to his game and more positional flexibility. Could play in multiple positions. So it's a hard one, right, at that age. And obviously, Rooney had the better career. Like he still could have had an even better career.
Owen admits that over the career.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We talked the hamstring injury. They didn't treat it properly. Medical advances are different now, whereby I think like Saka had the same tendon tear last summer, right? He's had surgery on his hamstring.
Yeah,
so, like,
I think Kane also had the same. But I can't remember exactly. Would that have been Roy Evans' days then, in terms of when he did it, and then medical advice at the time was what they did right. And I guess Julio came afterwards. I guess it could have been treated differently had Julio been around.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, doctors, and it might have been a surgeon thing, a doctor thing, and treatments have advanced, and players have better longevity. He was also both of these guys were flogged hard at a young age. So this is why I always tell you guys, like, I get it, the issue with Kobe Mainu, but just also chill. Let the guy. He needs minutes, but like he was overplayed as well the first season. Ten Hag overplayed him. Both those guys were overplayed at a young age, and it caught up with them a little bit. And Owen was played way too much through injury. Rashford's the same thing, like playing through injury, and his body's kind of broken down a bit.
Fergie talked about it, I think, in his second book. If he had Michael Owen, he would have managed him differently, physically. Like he would have, kept him out of the team at times. And obviously this is the thing. It's like it's a hindsight thing. But yeah, Ferguson does talk about it in his book. So I think that's probably the highest praise that you could give Michael Owen. That Ferguson definitely wanted him at different times, and to talk about him in his book as well, to say I would have managed him differently, just shows like the level that Michael Owen was.
Liverpool were very reliant on him, basically.
Yeah, massively.
Right? So
yeah,
that was the problem, and it was really interesting. I saw a quote about because they were talking about England call-ups, and Rooney saying that Fergie would tell him, "I'll play 45 minutes," and then he would ignore him and he'd go, and it's just like, this is why, Wayne, you didn't have the longevity in your career, because you're not smart. You're supposed to play.
He loves his country, mate. It's not a crime, is it?
just loves playing football.
That's what made him as well. This is what I say, that's what made Wazza, like, that fight. You can't just remove it when you like. So anyway, look,
you can with good management.
Okay, so speaking
of
good
That's
management,
what Fergie, top manager, knew how to rotate his players and make sure that. And then when he saw Rooney was on the decline, he was going to sell him, right? So, he's just top manager. You got to give it to Fergie.
Okay, so we touched on Michael Owen winning the derby there in that 4-3 game all those years ago. So we've got the derby on the weekend at the Etihad on Sunday. First question, yes or no answer, or not yes or no, Le Mans or Bayern. Ash?
I would go Le Mans.
As?
Bayern for me.
Oh, Mr. Conservative.
Definitely, I want to. It's just not for our result, but for him to be able to not have the pressure. Yeah, right. I want him to settle in.
I think I would just not put Le Mans into that position. If he makes a mistake, it could ruin his career. That's how big these big moments can be. So I would just play Bayern and just.
Bayern he's played international games, right, for Turkey.
But he's shite in the air. I just can't get past
this is
those
the other thing.
couple of games.
I don't think City are as brutal on corners, so
they're not. But also, you look through even recent history, City have scored many a set piece against us. So I just don't want a goalkeeper flapping around. Look, it's not ideal, but if gun to the head, I'd pick Le Mans.
Fair play. You'll go straight with it. What do you think Ruben will actually do that though, Ash?
No, I think he'll go Bayern, like I said earlier, because despite the poor crossing or inability to try and get the ball, I think he's actually happy with him. His distribution has been some would say decent. We were there for the Arsenal. Well, we were there for the Arsenal game. There were certain passes he got lucky with, but fair play. On the ball, he's been
pass
decent
to Cunha,
enough.
for example, against Fulham. I haven't seen Onana hit a pass like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's enough for him to just be I'm going to keep him in the team and do probably the more sensible thing, which is transitioning Le Mans in. That's the point. Let's see if that actually happens. I hope so.
Okay, us make a case for us to win this game.
I don't need to make a case. We are going to win this game.
City are shite.
What are you talking about?
Aren't we ahead of City?
Last season's game.
Yeah,
we're ahead of them. We're ahead of them in the league. Pep's a fraud. All these, I don't know what rumours have been going around. I won't spread them on the pod, but He's had to get a new
Wives
goalkeeper
involved.
in. Yeah. So, Donnarumma's going to flap at one and it's something's going to
Oh,
go
I
through him
forgot.
as well.
It's going to be
Donnarumma can't catch either. So, you wait and see. I mean, if you think about the in-swinging corners
It's going to be like,
we've got.
I told you.
Cunha's going to stick one right. It's Cunha Elastico for the first goal. Right?
Is he fit?
Donnarumma's flapping at. Oh, yeah, we don't know about his hamstring, right? So
Yeah, it's Harry. It's going to be Harry Maguire last minute. Come on, we're going to boot the ball. Plan B.
Yeah, we got Ahmad. It sounds like Mount isn't as bad as they first feared. So let's see.
I think it was
he's
precaution.
fit.
Yeah.
So that would be good news as well. So of course we're going to win. And City have shown weakness. It like their midfield. It shows you can play 4-3-3, have three in midfield, and still get played through.
Well,
right?
Ruben's got a good. His record is actually decent against the bigger teams, especially away. Right, like we saw the result at the Etihad last season. At Anfield, we played quite well, so maybe there's something in that as well.
If we play as well as we did at Anfield, we'll win the game. Whereas with the derby last year at the Etihad, we just stayed in the game and we gave ourselves a chance. Yeah, we gave ourselves a chance. We set up well and then bit of magic from Ahmad. But if we play like we did at Anfield, where we actually played some football, then we can win this game because
we need
City haven't been
to have
good.
a good game against Haaland. That's really important, right? Haaland is just massive for them. But I think we can score. The one thing I'm interested in is who does he play in the wing-back positions? Does he go with the more attacking option with Ahmed? I think he's going to go Dallo. And
Definitely go. He'll go Dallo one side.
Or Dallo Mazraoui if Mazraoui's now fit, because he came on, didn't he? So he must be back to fit.
You think he'll play both?
I think he's going to be more defensive.
No Dorgu then.
Two of these three, what we would call more the full-back option as opposed to Ahmad, who's more the winger option. Yeah. I think he's going to go conservative to start with and maybe open up as the game goes on. Don't think Dallo's been good. Don't think he deserves his spot, but he'll play probably because he's the lieutenant, right? So that trust and all of this nonsense.
I've got one. Kobbie Mainoo's going to come on and score the winner.
Please. That would be so good. Open his body up, bend it like he did against Liverpool, Wolves, those types of goals, or Leon.
On the same evening, Scott's going to finally pull Sydney Sweeney as well.
Miracles happen.
Right? You got to believe.
Well, Scott McTominay's got a chance of it.
Ballon d'Or.
Not our Scott.
You mean Sean?
Our Sean Dyche, but Scott McTominay, maybe, yeah.
Okay, so predictions then. What do you actually think is going to happen?
2-1 United.
Same.
Default prediction.
2-1 United. I feel confident. I always feel, big games, I think we turn up, the emotion's there. I don't feel City are in great shape. Like I said, you need a little bit of luck in these moments. Bit of Haaland against De Ligt situation where he, and the rest of it will take care of itself. We'll create some chances.
Šeško to start? You guys?
That's a really interesting call. I also don't think he will. I think if Mason, this is the whole thing. If all of the players are fit, Mount, Cunha, etc., I think he'll go with the same.
I agree. Fulham or Arsenal.
Lineups with just without Ahmad.
He did that against Burnley as well. Šeško didn't start, right?
Don't think he started a league game.
So I agree. If Mason Mount's fit, he will start, and Šeško will be on the bench.
Yeah, and Mount has been really good. So, fair.
Steve, would you start him, or would you? Do you think Ruben's just going to continue to play Mount if he's fit?
I would start him. I would have started him in that first game against Arsenal. I know there's fitness and stuff, but we've had 3 league games now. He should have started by now, in my opinion. So. I think now he should be fit to start. Well, yeah. So maybe.
I just think that Mason Mount has been really good, and this is the thing.
Trusts him.
It's not just that, people go on and on about, oh, you know what, Ruben never changes. It's always a 3-4-3, and but the personnel he puts in these various positions are the changes he makes. Who he chooses at wing back changes the dynamic. Who he chooses at number 10. If Mason Mount plays, Mason Mount is more of a midfielder than a striker, right? Sesko's more of a striker. So if you want three in midfield and to make sure that you're not outnumbered, you play Mason Mount. I think he goes with that.
Who would you go with if you were the manager?
I would do the same, and then what you then look to is your bench, because what you want to do is, in an away game, you want to be in the game and you want to make sure you don't lose control of the game, and Mount's pressing off the bulwark, and then you're at 60 minutes, it's 1-1, and then you go for the winner. You unleash Ahmad and you unleash Sesko from the bench, and Kobe as well, potentially fresh legs, because Casemiro, right, can't play 90, right? Even if Mazraoui or Dorgu or Dallo, you think you can sub one of them off, right? Mount's not going to play 90, so that's when Sesko comes on. So you've got your Kobe, you've got your Sesko, you've got your Ahmad to come on, and they're the finishers, and then you're in the game, and then that's how we win it.
That's the blueprint. Yeah, I agree. My official prediction is going to be 2-2, but I could see, a 2-1 or a 3-2 United. Yeah, I think any result's possible.
If
Honestly,
City
I
are
can see a 4-0.
conceding
I can see a 4-0.
Oh, we said
City.
it.
No, to us.
No, he meant United.
I can see a 4-0 to City as well. I'm just putting it out there.
I've looked at one thing that has been consistent in all the Grimsby doesn't count because it's a second team, disgrace, but it was the 3 games, fast starts. I can see us 2 goals in 20 minutes. Just need a bit of luck. Not hit the post, not this. 2-0. City then come on to us, and then 2 more goals in the second half on the counter. Sesko, 89th minute, off the mark, 4th goal, 4-0. Brilliant.
And I can also see 4-0 City, emergency pod Sunday night. So basically, we've covered every result, basically.
Be ready.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
I tell you what, though, I'm just looking forward to Super Sunday. Hopefully Burnley get a nice win against Liverpool, sets up the derby, and then... Yeah, it's the Premier League's back. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. I've missed it. It's only been 2 weeks, so yeah.
United are back.
Yeah, literally. And the transfer window's shut as well. So, mostly. So less noise.
It's all football now. 1 game a week, multiple pods, lots to talk about. Get ready.
Yep. So on that bombshell, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.